Welcome to another All at Sea video, and this one's about the sense of smell, and it's called Transports of Delight. It's one of my 52 talks, like a pack of cards, and in this case the cartoons you will see are courtesy of my good friend Sergio Lievino from Drawing Elephants in Switzerland. And today we open one of my perfumery books, Transports of Delight. And we're going to do some poetry about our marvellous sense of smell. What I like to try and do is get travellers, cruisers, interested in using their nose as well as their vision when they're travelling the world, to actually stop and smell the roses, smell the coffee. And some of these works come from my books, Transports of Delight, Kodo, The Way of Incense, and Led by the Nose, which was a book of 2008-2009, meant to go with comic relief in the United Kingdom. Perfumery is a mix of both science and art, the science of aromatic substances and the art of painting, not with colour, but with aromas. It was truly the first work of alchemy. The Alchemist. It steals the richness of the earth and seeks out water too. It stalks the atoms of the air and binds them with its glue. A radiant bloom bows to the sun and takes its fire and passion. With all four elementals, it does a fifth one fashion. The quintessential soul of flowers distilled from earth and water, with fire and air, all four combine to make fair nature's daughter. We have our gold from simple lead, the alchemy's complete, and all the space around our flower with perfume is replete. And now our marvellous sense, the sense of smell, our oldest sense along with taste, and the nose. The nose, it is a wondrous thing. It lets all kinds of smells go in, and gently warms them in its maze, and probes and checks that scented haze. Then lets you know it's cardamom, or aniseed, or fruity gum. It sorts the jasmine from the rose. How does it work, do you suppose? 10,000 odours it can tell, this providential sense of smell. A Nobel Prize awaits the one who figures out how this is done. And now we look at different places which our cruise ship takes us to and the fine aromas that come from them. Places. Hong Kong means fragrant harbour. Bombay the same thing too. They speak of a time of wind and sail, when fine aromas blew. America smelt for 100 miles of forests of cedar and pine, and sailors of long ago sang of this in celebrated rhyme. Africa smelt of deep jungle, and Zanzibar island of clove. Caribbean was pungent with nutmeg, no matter where'er you rove. The Far East suffused with sharp spices, star anise and quilled cinnamon. They marked the ports of your voyage and told just how far you had come. The only smell we get now, when we finish our aeroplane ride, is the pong so vile of the stuff from a phial as the steward sprays right through the aisle. Our sense of smell is integrally linked to memory, and this is evoked in this poem, Scent. When I sit and close my eyes, strange sensations can arise, and my spirit cross the boundless ocean goes. For my memory is strongly stirred and my senses gently whirred by the recollecting power of my nose. Incense from a joss stick smoke can sweet memories evoke of a time and place that I held dear to heart. And I love to spend my time in some fascinating clime, half a world away from my own homely hearth. Scents from precious flowers may bring me visions bright as day of far places where my feet have often stood. Perfumes drifting on the breeze take me back with seeming ease, and I'd like to bring you with me if you would. Off to Mexico we go, where the smell is soft aloe. Bougainvillea is the scent of Caribbean. Fragrance mixed with spice and sand gives the souks of Samarkand. Grand bazaars of Istanbul are there to see. Eucalyptus takes us to Australia's shores. Sensual jasmine to the mounts of the Azores. Archipelagos I rove, stirred by pungent smell of clove, catching all the fragrant odours far from home. Then the perfumed hops of Kent bring me back from where I went, and I find myself in England once again, where cut grass and red rose bloom gently drift into the room as I watch the drizzled mist and summer rain. Now we have a different evocation of the word scent. The scent, the aroma of a perfume bottle. Scent. Scent, perfume, fragrance, bouquet, incense, spicery, tutti frutti, flower power, or just plain smelly. Bottled figment, filed elixir, holy smoke and stuff of dreams. Break the seal, remove the stopper, loose the gaseous genie's streams. Mottled myrrh from Araby, crinkled clove of Zanzibar, speckled spice of Samarkand, wrinkled weed from Malabar. Wood and fruit and fragrant bloom burst forth from their crystal tomb. Swarms of smell spill out pell-mell to wrap you into their sweet womb. Balmy nights and dreamy days, mountain streams and tropic shore, balsams, resins, wisps and sprays, odours gathered wide and far. Sensual smokes, aroused aromas, gifts from gods and joy of man. Love's explosives in small doses. Reach nirvana if you can. Now, as it happened when I wrote this poem in 2007, a perfume called Allure had just come out onto the market from Chanel. But this is a different sense of allure, one that many men, I'm sure, have been fascinated by. Before I saw her, I sensed her, unwittingly entering the perfumed circle of influence that her aura had flung out into space. I crossed the event horizon of her being as my soul joyfully and with complete abandon entered her universe. She had spun an aromatic web of enchantment, and I was one, and I was lost. Throw away your artificial tree and get a real tree, a pine-resined aromatic tree into your home, because then you truly bring Christmas into your house. Do I smell Christmas in the air? Do I sniff Christmas in the air with clove and cinnamon, and oranges with strong mulled wine, and party popper fun? Do I smell Christmas in the air in candle wax and wood, the resin-fragrant cedar tree, the brandy-flavoured pud? Do I whiff Christmas in the air when some of these combine? But wait, there's more aromas when we all sit down to dine. On turkey, sage and onion, and chestnut stuffing sauce, and gravy smothered Yorkshires, with roast parsnips of course. And afterwards there's Turkish, and candied ginger too, and chocks and toffs and peppermints, and coffee-flavoured goo. Yes, I smell Christmas in the air. Let's grab the cutlery and sample all the tasty treats which Christmas brings to me. I've often wondered, as Earth spins through its place in the Milky Way, in the whole galaxy, whether we actually have a smell, an aroma that we leave behind. Earth scent. I've often thought, as we spin through space, if planet Earth leaves a scented trace. Some smell to fill the vacuum there, a clue for aliens that we're here. Some molecules of Chanel 5 might indicate we're all alive. Or coffee brewing on the stove. Now there's a pleasant thought, by Jove. A whiff of bread, fresh on the rise, or bacon butties on the braais, and vinegar on fish and chips, aromas that will lick their lips. Or aromatic curry sauce, with extra poppadoms, of course. The meaty mix of a Big Mac might make them turn their spaceship back. Or heady Rastafarian mash of baccy smoke with added hash. Or rainfall on a summer's day, mingled well with thickened clay. Or incense from a billion prayers could make E.T. reverse the gears. But he won't come back for cars, I know, which spew exhaust fumes of CO, and God forbid what makes him go could be the smell of our BO. Let's take a Star Trek voyage now into outer space, where some curious aromas await us. Led by the nose. On the dark side of Sirius 4 is a plant with aromas galore, for the odorous grell manufactures a smell that attracts victims right to its door. For the grell is a plant carnivore and just thrives on dead bodies and gore. If you think of a treat or a tasty sweetmeat, it will copy their odor for sure. You are led by the nose to the scene where this villainous plant makes you dream. With the swish of tendrils, you are swept through its gills, and in space, no one can hear you scream. We're not long ago monkeys down from the trees, and so animal aromas do interest us and do fascinate us. In the perfume business that I was in, I worked very hard, along with others, to rid the industry of animal scents. There were 4. 3 of them are in this poem. There were the civet cat of Abyssinia or Ethiopia, the North American beaver, and the Himalayan or Himalayan musk deer. If you diluted these aromas very much, then they became part of the perfume industry. There were territorial scents meant to attract male and female. Animal instincts. The beaver squirts castoreum to bid the lady beaver come. Its scent says that the water's fine, that she will have a right good time. But woe betide another male who steps inside this perfumed pail, for castor marks his frontier so, and other males inside can't go. How come females of humankind just slap this on without a mind? It beats me that castoreum can give a sexual come on. Now musk deer too squirts its own juice from anal pod, a well-aimed sluice that brings the doe in hot pursuit to sample that forbidden fruit of sexual union. Well, it's clear that musk is fine for mountain deer, but why do women scrub their scent to slap on that for reindeer mend? Again defeats me, as I say. I'd much prefer the smell of hay. And do you know that sperm whale sick is yet another perfume trick, as aromatic ambergris creates a whiff that you can't miss? It's used by females on their men. Just how the hell does that work then? And last but least is civet cat. I hear you say, just fancy that. It's from another anal pod to lure another silly sod. They're all in finest French perfume. Their odours permeate the room and bring all men into the trap. They're lost forever with no map. Now, I did actually mention the sperm whale in the other poem with the other 3 animals, but this ambergris deserves its own special poem, and it's really all about how people protected the origin of the aromas, because of course the more there was in the marketplace, the less you would get for them. So this is Sinbad's other tale from Baghdad. The sperm, it feeds on cuttlefish, by all accounts a tasty dish, but not the bones that stomach cut and form great scars upon the gut, which, when the whale has had enough and promptly sickens of the stuff, ejects this morass on the sea, where mermaid's gold awaits for me. As nature's gift is worked upon by wind and waves, by rain and sun, to give aromas of delight, which sets the nose of man alight. And this I sell for princely son, in Basra's market, where all come. Alas, I cannot tell this tale of ambergris which comes from whale. I need protect my trade, you see, and thus a story tell to thee, of abyss edge, where fiery pits throw out the ambergris in bits. So only bold will venture forth and sail to east, west, south, and north. For with such dangers on the sea, much safer 'tis to buy from me. And rest assured, they all come back, for nature's aphrodisiac. I praise my God for this bounty, so wondrous made upon the sea. If there was one person in history who loved his perfumes, it was that great warrior, Napoleon Bonaparte. This was his last wish. Napoleon the warrior, romantic guy was he. He used 4711 cologne and splashed it on with glee. When battling, he sent messengers to Josephine, his love. Je reviens, ne te lave pas, the message to his cove. A Creole born in Martinique, he loved her natural smell, but also liked the many scents that she sprayed on as well. Napoleon left his Josephine. She was a woman scorned, and daubed their house in Malmaison. Don't say he wasn't warned. With civet and castoreum, tenacious scents are they, and if you visit Malmaison you smell them to this day. A locket he wore round his neck, within a violet petal, for it reminded him of her, when love was in fine fettle. In Helena his grave he chose, and told it to the Brits, a scented grove of tuberose, his sentiments just fits. Those Frenchies dug him up again, and took him from the isle, and placed our corporal's fancy bones in a place which wiped his smile. A traffic isle in Paris is his final resting place. I think for such a personage it's really a disgrace. If Bonaparte were here right now, I think he'd rant and rave. I'm sure that dear old Boney is turning in his grave. He'd say, please don't dig me up again and go against my wish. In fact, I think I've changed my mind. Cremate me in a dish. Now, we all know about the nativity scene and those marvellous incense materials, frankincense and myrrh. Here myrrh is purposely spelt differently. And this tale, what's this stuff called myrrh, is given by Joseph. What's all this snow? We don't get that at all in Palestine. With angels, stars and magi, I thought things would be fine. Oh well, another mouth to feed. I'm not sure how he came. I can't remember making love. I don't think I'm to blame. And as for herald angel talk, ain't that just for the birds? This little voice inside which says he's not the common herd. Melchior just gave me gold. Now that's a welcome thing. Some I'll sell for money, and some I'll keep for bling. And Gaspar's gift of incense will also bring some loot. I'll sell it to the temple and buy a glitzy suit. But what's this funny stuff called myrrh that Balthazar dropped off? Doesn't seem to do too much. It whiffs like musty sock. I'll just consign it to the flames. That seems the best to me, for no one here in Bethlehem can say what it might be. But wait, a glorious smell breaks out, enrapturing all folk. My God, the best prez of them all has just gone off in smoke. And now for one of the ugly ones. And I guess I don't have to tell you that the smells, the aromas of cadaverine and putrescine are not very nice for the nose. A tale I'll tell of Sweeney Todd, the demon barber far from God, as nice as pie to those he knows, but for the rest a switch he throws, which swivels them with share and all to cellar dark, neck broke by fall. But just in case and with a gloat, he'd also calmly slit their throat, divesting all of sparkly things, like note or coins and watch and rings. His trade was plied upon the Fleet, in London town, a busy street. But there's a darker side to Todd, for he would also give your bod to Mrs. Lovat's tender care, a seller of meat pies most rare. It doesn't take a high IQ to guess the contents of that stew. With flesh well boiled and bones stripped bare, the rest thrown down without a care, into the sewage drain below, to join a rank cadaverous flow. They floated, causing quite a jam, and then with others formed a dam above a church where incense fair did nothing to the smell deter. Whilst Christian hymns were put to lips, they smelled the high notes from the crypts. Now putricine's that awful stink, which landed both our crooks in clink. And not long after that fair cop, they both were summoned to the drop. A moral is not hard to find, if murder foul is on your mind. Judicious use of heaped quicklime will hide the odour of your crime. And only this will give you hope, that you will not also feel the rope. But if this tale does not convince, beware of ending up as mince. And now my favourite poem about seafaring and cruising, and it involves the journey of Odysseus or Ulysses back from the Trojan War to his wife Penelope, a journey that took 10 years and had him facing Cyclops, Laestrygonians, which were cannibal giants, and Circe the witch. This is by Constantine Caffavy, and it's called Ithaka, the island of Ulysses. As you set out for Ithaca, hope your road is a long one, full of adventure, full of discovery. Laestrygonians, Cyclops, angry Poseidon, don't be afraid of them. You'll never find things like that on your way, as long as you keep your thoughts raised high, as long as a rare excitement stirs your spirit and your body. Laestrygonians, Cyclops, wild Poseidon, you won't encounter them unless you bring them along inside your soul, unless your soul sets them up in front of you. Hope your road is a long one. May there be many summer mornings when, with what pleasure and what joy, you enter harbours you're seeing there for the first time. May you stop at Phoenician trading stations to buy fine things, mother of pearl and coral, amber and ebony, sensual perfume of every kind, as many sensual perfumes as you can. And may you visit many Egyptian cities to learn and go on learning from their scholars. Keep Ithaca always in your mind. Arriving there is what you're destined for. But don't hurry the journey at all. Better if it lasts for years. So you're old by the time you reach the island, wealthy with all you've gained on the way, not expecting Ithaca to make you rich. Ithaca gave you the marvellous journey. Without her, you wouldn't have set out. She has nothing left to give you now. And if you find her poor, Ithaka won't have fooled you. Wise as you will have become, so full of experience, you'll have understood by then what these Ithakas mean. Well, it's been enjoyable reading some samplers from my books, Transports of Delight, Kodo, The Way of Incense, and the comedy book, Led by the Nose. And I hope you've enjoyed them too. So, an all at sea video, one of my 52 collection like a pack of cards. Thanks again to Sergio Lievano, my friend from Drawing Elephants in Switzerland. And I'll now close that particular chapter on my book of perfumery. Goodbye for now.